Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumant Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today I'm going to be speaking to you guys about the Alpha-Theta bridge. Now you're probably wondering, what is the Alpha-Theta bridge? Well, a lot of things can be called a bridge, right? You take a look at the chakras being called the rainbow bridge as well. And you're probably thinking, Alpha Theta, what do you mean Alpha Theta bridge? Like, is this some kind of a fraternity hazing bridge where I have to get from one side to the other? No. It has nothing to do with Alpha Theta, okay, is associated with brainwaves. The neuroelectricity of flow, brainwaves. Now, you might be thinking, is this related to alpha male, beta male? Not really, though we can make that correlation to it, because alpha waves are associated with relaxed wakefulness. You'll notice a lot of the alpha guys out there are very relaxed, but they're also alert. So that's how I want to define the alpha waves, because you want to kind of understand them. You know, there's synchronized electrical impulses from masses of neurons communicating with each other. That's neuroelectricity. Brain waves are normally in beta, which means it's excited, it's in the stress response, it's in waking consciousness. So when we're fully awake, when we're doing things, we feel very much in the beta brainwaves. Hypnagogia is a state which is marked by both a high level of alpha and a high level of theta, right? So as we begin to fall asleep, the brain moves from the prevalence of relaxed alpha waves to the drowsier theta waves, okay? So you can think of alpha waves almost like a little bit of that peak performance state where you're on the treadmill and you're like that moment, right? Compared to the mystical theta state, which is much more gamma spike is also happening, right? So as we have a flow state experience, you're walking the alpha theta bridge, what's happening is there's a little gamma spike. Now what is a gamma wave? A gamma wave is very fast, right? Even beyond beta. So it's very, very fast, it's rapid, it's for higher cognition, it's almost like Dexter Boy Genius, like, Eureka! Didi, I did it! Right? That kind of brainwave, right? It's like super fast, hyper, it's like on it. That's why sometimes Dexter can move into a little bit of beta as well, right? He's like, oh, what's going on, right? That thing, but he's a very, very intelligent guy, right? So the thing is that burst of insight or the aha moment is from that gamma spike, right? It's a very fast wave. And that's when all the ideas come in. That's when you have these aha moments where you're like, I get it now. I understand. I'm having a breakthrough. Okay, that is a gamma spike. So as you're in the flow state, you'll get a lot of these epiphanies or insights or downloads coming in. Now, can you maintain that for a long time? Well, it has been shown that advanced meditators, interestingly enough, have a high level of gamma brainwaves. Okay, so if you make meditation a very common practice for you, you can actually be able to maintain those aha moments, those bursts of insight a lot more. But it's like also saying, like, how can you naturally adjust your own metabolism to lose or gain weight? You know, something like that, it's easier said than done. So you need to train your brain over many years if you want to have coping with the high demand of that. So otherwise, if you're having ideas and great insights all the time, you're going to go bonkers. You know, your brain can only work so fast. That's why movies which show using 100% of the brain, I mean, we just go into absolute chaos, you know, if we used 100%. If everybody used 100%. It's a state where tasks become automatic, so you can mentally disengage from them. This is from Ted Herman said this. So the ideation that takes place during the theta state is this kind of free flow that occurs without any kind of censorship or any kind of guilt. You don't feel like you need to censor yourself, and you don't feel a guilt in that beingness, right? So it's just automatic. Tasks happen. It's fluid. It's energized. It's effortless. The theta zone of activity has particular spikes that can happen. They're associated with creative insights, okay? So the gamma range is somewhere above 30 hertz per second, right? So the flow state is associated with 8 hertz per second around, because that's right where alpha almost ends and goes into theta, right? So it's the bridge of both of those. So 8 hertz around that, 8 hertz per second is where you can keep that brainwave state, where you can tap into the flow state, all right? So it's also the the bridge from conscious to subconscious mind, right? Alpha is still relaxed, but you're still alert underneath that, which is a bit more of a hypnotic state, right? You're going into trance. You're going into, my subconscious mind is now saying yes to all the information that's there. That's why subliminal messages work so well. This is why hypnosis works so well. This is why like things like affirmations and incantations work so well, right? Because what we're doing is our brain, holds like 40 million bits of information, right, in the subconscious. So if we can consciously choose a few of those, right, and say them as affirmations and chant them like, 100 times, this is what chanting is, right? Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Wang Wang, right? All that stuff is basically a repetition, and it's a reprogramming of the subconscious mind. Essentially, what you want to do is, if you're ever listening to binaural beats around this range, what you need to do is put on headphones or earphones and understand that, it's either you're listening to a combination approach of two frequencies coming in and canceling out. So it's the subtraction of both of those frequencies, creating a third tone, right? That's the brainwave. There's a lot of brainwave sounds out there. You can look up 8 hertz, or you can just type in flow state or Alpha-Theta and try and find if there's some sound files that get you into tapping into this neuroelectricity. If you want to understand this further, you're going to have to look a little bit into the flow cycle as well, because it goes struggle, release, flow, and then recovery. This is why also when you get into a release phase, it's like also where nitric oxide is coming in, so it's like the blood flow is happening. So maybe you're doing some kind of movement or some kind of breath work or whatever you're doing, right? Ecstatic dance. Let's say you're like at the club and you're like in the body fully, you're not in the head. So you're dancing, right? And you're on the dance floor and you're in your head about your dance moves, like, this seems ridiculous, man. Like, what am I doing with my dance moves like this? You're still actually in beta, right? The nitric oxide is being built, but it's like you're still stuck up here, right? So the flow would be like, oh man, I'm enjoying just moving and like enjoying the music, tapping my foot to this.
Like, wow, look at all these people. This is awesome. I'm here to explore this venue. Okay. All right. Oh, man. Oh, look what my body's doing right now. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, man. Oh.
That's the big difference, okay? Big difference between when you're in the flow and when you're out of it. When you're out of it, it's very self-focused, right? You're focusing on you. What do I look like? Is my hair right? Am I standing in the right conditioning? But when it's much more in the flow, you're focused on what is outside of you, right? Like, let's say when you're talking to someone, right? You put the focus on them. Yes, it's important to like stand confidently and have all the body language and everything and all that together, right? But at the same time, there's like this feeling of freedom that we can also tap into, okay? So let's do a bit of a recap. Gamma is associated with the higher cognitive processing. Beta is associated with normal waking consciousness and states of alertness. Alpha is associated with flowing thoughts, daydreams, maybe light meditations. Theta is associated in a dream, maybe vivid imagery. It's beyond normal consciousness awareness. And Delta is experienced in deep dreamless sleep, okay? Deep transcendental meditation. The Alpha-Theta bridge. Peak performance with mystical. Science and spirituality. That's where they're meeting. Gamma waves are from 40 to 100 hertz. Beta waves are from 12 to 40 hertz. Alpha waves are from 8 to 12 hertz. Theta waves are from 4 to 8 hertz. And delta waves are from 0 to 4 hertz. Really slow, right? Delta's just like the brainwaves going like this. All right, so you can think of it like delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma, right? That's how you can kind of imagine it. Alpha-Theta border is around 8 hertz. It's the border between conscious and subconscious. If you're doing any sports, you'll notice you'll start off in beta, right? But you're very quickly, you'll move into an alpha-theta, okay? According to sports scientists, increased alpha waves actually precede peak performance. So when you're in intense creativity and you're about to have a burst and you engage in deep dialogue with your divine mind, you'll be surprised by your performance. Alpha-Theta bridge is the zone where gamma waves can actually occur. Okay, gamma waves bind together and form distant arranging areas of the brain, connecting to more memories, experiences, new stimuli, creative action. This is why it's so interesting that certain channelers have been shown to tap into gamma wave frequencies, right? Because they're completely like they're in the flow, but then they're also just having these epic gamma spikes, and they're able to maintain that. How to improve your gamma waves? Meditation. How to improve your beta waves? Coffee, energy drinks, getting into the flow. How can we get into alpha waves? Relaxants, antidepressants, alcohol, sometimes marijuana does this, sometimes, I mean, there are these methods, but also relaxation, right? So, like, finding just ways to relax and let go, have like self massage, like doing things for your own self care that gets you to feel a lot more relaxed. Then we have theta waves, which is can be increased through certain kinds of depressants, but also, like, think about it like creativity, right? So emotional connection, intuition, relaxation. This happens from mystical or spiritual states, right? Or maybe very deep levels of hypnosis or trance. And then we also have the dreamless sleep, and actually, deep sleep is important for the healing process, right? So it's like the regeneration or the recovery phase of the flow cycle, as we call it. So it's kind of, we can arrange it from gamma to delta, which is fastest to slowest. And then you understand the alpha theta is where you're the middle of your conscious and subconscious mind, right? You're like, have one foot in the mystical realm and one foot in the physical realm. If you think of alpha waves, you can think of like Bugs Bunny, right? If you're thinking of theta waves, you can think of like maybe Garfield, right? Always this kind of lazy, not lazy, but it's like meditative, right? It's deep thought. And then you have delta, which is maybe like Snoopy the dog, just like sleeping. And high gamma waves could be like, Jimmy Neutron or something, right? So if you can look at it as cartoon characters, it just simplifies it and it helps you to understand it more, right? Theta waves would be like, Tintin. He's like trying to solve the problem, Snowy, no. Like, basically compare all these things to different cartoons to understand it. You can also understand it as a let's go, let go, flow, and then rest, yo, and then let's go again. Okay, so that's the cycle. Now, how do we walk the alpha theta bridge? That's probably what you're wondering, right? You want to do a mindless activity. What do I mean by that? Not a completely mindless activity. You don't want to get yourself in danger or in trouble. But what I mean by this is a repetitive, non-taxing activity. It's not too difficult to do, but it's just a hypnotic activity that you can do, right? Like soaping yourself up in the shower, playing with a Rubik's Cube. You could garden. You could go for a walk. Do some activity that is not too difficult. Sometimes, if you're playing a video game, the challenge is too difficult and you're already in flow there, and then you get stuck there. You see what I'm saying? It can't be a video game that's too challenging. It's got to be something that you can easily just be like, loop, loop, next level, right? Something like that. Or maybe a brain teaser, one of those, I have this great one called Brain Dots that I mentioned a while back. I like doing that one. Write a song, right? Write something, write some musical thing to get into that state. But it can't be too difficult, right? You can't force it and then sit for hours trying to make a musical composition and then just like, having everything be perfect. No, it can't be like that. It's just got to be like, yeah, I'm having fun, I'm singing in the shower, I'm just making up shit. It's like improvising, It's got to be improvising. As you're improvising, you're realizing that flow state is already there. Gotta tapping into it, baby.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Imagine, right, I said Bugs Bunny to Garfield, Alpha Theta Bridge. How would you imagine if Bugs Bunny and Garfield became one character? It's not so much like a "What's up, Doc?" It's more like a "What's up, Doc?" Right? It's much more chill. It's much more relaxed. It's not like, "I wonder if John left the lasagna." Like, it's not that low, but it's also like not like, "Yeah, what's up, Doc?" It's not that high either. You're just kind of in between, morphing from "What's up, Doc?" to time slowing down for you. Nothing else matters. A little bit of Garfield. And that's why, like, staying in the flow state can also take up a lot of our neurochemicals, right? So it's using a lot of electricity. That's why, I feel dehydrated a lot of times. I'm in flow a lot of the times, right? And so it's important for you to hydrate. Then it's also important for you to be able to really get into all these other states too. Okay, so if you are in the flow state a lot, you'll notice like maybe you're not getting to sleep, right? A lot. I struggle with that too. So your brain waves become so stimulated by you being in flow, that sometimes you need a break. You need that recovery or that rest, in order for you to recharge again and then get back into the flow. So how do you maintain the Alpha-Theta bridge? Repetitive, non-taxing activity. Enjoy what you're doing. Use your strengths. Be able to optimize that. Give yourself things that you can do in the subconscious realm, like go do different trances, do different meditations, do different kinds of subliminal messages that you're listening to, brainwave entrainment, pretty much have different affirmations or different things that you're doing to actively, control those 40 million bits of information in your subconscious mind. But whatever we focus on grows. So with our selective focus, we can actually rewire the subconscious mind. So if we're saying, I'll give you an affirmation to practice. Okay, here we go. I'm always a moment away from momentum. Once you're reminding yourself of that, now you can tap into flow at any time. You have the choice. You are the unit. You are the wave, right, that creates it. And so if you're telling yourself, I can't, or I'm not there yet, or I wonder if, or how do I, or the universe will tell you the how do I. You just need to do, right? So think of the lower chakras, right? It's like you want to really maintain those lower ones so that you can thrive in the upper ones. The first one is, I am, root chakra. I feel, sacral chakra. I do, solar plexus, navel chakra, right? So I am, I feel, I do. I am, it's that beingness, that groundedness, that presence. I feel, now you're tapping into your emotions a little bit more. And then I do. And that's kind of a nice understanding of. So obviously, I have a lot to say about this topic. I can go on for hours talking about this topic, but I think I'm going to leave it here. I gave you a lot to ponder about. All right, have an amazing day. I hope this helped you out today. May the flow be with you and stay legendary.